Okay, so what do we go to next here? Why don't we go to Hillside Plaza? Why not? We're moving on this rate. Karen. Karen's another one of the new characters, isn't she? Unless she was in a game I haven't played, because I don't remember Karen. But oh well. And again, let's give her blue. She can pull off the blue. So M. Bison fighting what appears to be an overzealous schoolgirl. This is the kind of things that dreams are made of in Japan, clearly. Another thing that might be sticking out to you, you'll appreciate it the most when you've actually got the game in front of you, but it looks quite nice, I've got to say. The character models are really sublime. I like the sort of small environmental effects like the dust and things, some of the light displays. It looks like a kind of, if you remember the style from Street Fighter 4, how it was that sort of very inky, very shaded, sort of animated look. Like it was kind of this blend of anime, cell shading, and like very inky sort of hues, and Street Fighter 5 is kind of an evolution of that. I see you're a lot better with M. Bison. I've actually got to like fight harder now, because apparently I'm not that good with Karen. There. There. There you go. Yeah, and you've done it by button mashing. So if you have casual viewers in the audience wondering if Street Fighter 5 is right for you, yes, apparently there is a way to button mash through it. So, but obviously, it's good for pro fighters as well. The game is, I feel anyway, that the Street Fighter franchise in general is one of those brands that's very good in terms of being easy to learn but hard to master. And there we go. See, I'm going to retaliate a bit now. There. Okay. There, so there's my V trigger. As you can see, depending on the character you're using, the V triggers aren't always like raw offensive attacks. Oh man, she actually took me down there. So there. Sometimes they're like support attacks, like they'll give you specialty functions, they'll make you more defensive. And that's another thing that I think adds a really cool element to the strategy behind the fights, really, because it's not always about just doing raw damage against your opponent. It's about mastering the character more intimately and learning how they kind of work against the other characters. It's really quite cool. But at the same time, like, they have streamlined the controls. They have made the controls a little more, like, flexible and intuitive compared to Street Fighter 4, at least in my opinion. So it's a little easier to fight with as well if you're not as experienced with Street Fighter, which is nice. So we're going to go to the Shadaloo base, you know, after M. Bison fights, because that makes sense. So we've got... Sure, we can do Rainbow Mika versus Ken.
Rainbow Mika.
As you can see, Ken looks like way different from the prior games, but I kind of like his new design. He's a little bit... He looks a little more Japanese to me. Game Killer is 004. I feel like it is Street Fighter Third Strike, LOL. I honestly think like it is sort of a souped-up version of Street Fighter Third Strike, but in a good way. Like it has enough novelty to kind of stand on its own. But yeah, Street Fighter 4 I think was more about making like a then next-gen version of Street Fighter 2, whereas I think, yeah, Street Fighter 5 does take more after the sort of hyperkinetic styling of Street Fighter 3. Oh jeez. You've never even picked up a Street Fighter game before. How are you this good with Ken? Ken is like he's like one of the eponymous Street Fighter characters alongside Ryu. Game Killer 004, true. Yeah. If you did play the beta, you would have seen some of this. They did rebalance the final game in some respects compared to the beta. Like, you know, I think some damage values are different and things. Some special moves don't quite work the same way. But that's all very, very technical. That's pro Street Fighter people who could tell you that better than I could. So, and Ken beat me. You can see he's still got the red gi though from Street Fighter 2 and from his prior appearances. He's just kind of letting loose. He's trying something different, which is weird because canonically Street Fighter 5 takes place between Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 3. So I guess in Street Fighter, I guess in the games after this, he kind of decided, no, I like my classic look better. So, shoot. I personally like, kind of like Rainbow Mika as a goof character, but I'm not the best with her. She's kind of, I suppose I should talk a little more about how, Ken would differ from Rainbow Mika, except Jess is defeating me. So... it's okay. There's no option to disable the timer that I've seen, which is a little unfortunate because it makes streaming the game a little harder. But for a quick and dirty like showcase stream, it's fine. But yeah, as I was saying, Rainbow Mika is interesting because she feels like sort of a speedier version of Zangief. Like she's all about, or Zangief, I think is how you're supposed to pronounce it. I still say Zangief because that's how everybody said it in the 90s. But yeah, she's a little speedier, but she's also more about like the grappling and sort of like twisting your enemy's momentum, turning it against them. So we're gonna go to the right side arenas now. Union Station. Again, this is super responsible. Fighting in Union Station. So we got 2 recognized. But you know what? I'll be Ryu. Because this is another very recognizable... Ooh, we got Dark Ryu.
Beyond the battle.
That's sexy. That's really good. And you're blue Cammy. You don't want to be... That's what she normally looks like. It didn't occur to me until you said that she's got Christmas colors. Yeah, but... Yeah, the blue and white kind of makes more sense for her, doesn't it? But that's okay. The classic look is fine. We're both bastardizing our classic Street Fighter colors because these are 2 of the oldest Street Fighter personalities around.
This is the path of my destiny.
There we go.
For those who I wish to protect, I will fight you.
Round 1.
Jeez.
Fight.
I wonder how she builds up those legs. That's like some hardcore Pilates that she's doing. There. Yeah. Ryu's just one of those tried and true personalities. Ryu still feels a lot like Ryu. Like, I don't think they're ever gonna mess with Ryu that much. But you can see, like, the Shoryuken's pretty much the same, the Hadoken's pretty much the same. Like, he's good, reliable, great starter character. There. It's a little rough with a lady there. But yeah, like I said, I can't see them ever really messing with Ryu that much because he's been around since like the very beginning of the series. Like, for those of you who are old enough to remember like the very, very first Street Fighter game that nobody likes, it wasn't Street Fighter until Street Fighter 2 that the series became good. But you could only play as Ryu in that arcade cabinet, even though there were a bunch of other fighters. And the second player could only play as Ken, which was kind of interesting. But obviously that didn't stick with Street Fighter 2. So, yeah. It's very cool how they've got that super refined detail. Actually, I'm not sure if I directly pointed it out to those of us, to those who are just joining us later. This is the PS4 version of the game. You might have been able to infer that from the, PS4 streaming doohickey on the side. But in case you didn't know, it is the PS4 version. And it looks pretty good. It runs well. Oh, and you beat me. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be like any major problems with how it handles, which is great. Not sure about the PC version. I haven't tried the PC version, I must confess, but the PS4 version looks to be shaping up pretty well. Kind of disappointing that whatever deal Capcom made with Sony means that Street Fighter V is not coming to the Xbox One at all. It's never planned for the Xbox One at any point, according to Capcom, so Xbox gamers might have to wait until Street Fighter VI to get their fix again, which is kind of crappy, but... Okay. Yeah, Cammy is a very, very light character. Again, they haven't really messed with Cammy too much either. She's got a couple of new tricks, but, she's still got, like, the cannon spike and everything, like her reliable moves. But yeah, as I was saying, it's a little bit of a bummer that the game's never coming to Xbox One. But on the bright side, yes, I was standing on your head. Apparently, Capcom's sort of changing up how they do the series, so rather than releasing, Super Street Fighter V or Street Fighter V Turbo, etc., they're just going to release, like, everything as free updates. Oh, that's our ratio there. They're just going to have Street Fighter V be, like, the only version of the game from the way they made it sound. We'll see if they stick with that. But, Yeah, which will be nice, because I think, like, even with Street Fighter 4, I really like Street Fighter 4, but the fact that they were still doing Super Street Fighter 4, and then Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, and then Ultra Street Fighter 4, and it's like, okay, we live in the DLC era. I don't think this is really necessary anymore. So I'm glad that Capcom's kind of getting with the times and just having Street Fighter 5 not be this version of the game that's going to be outdated in, like, less than a year. Oh, yeah, his hair color is the only thing that changes. Well, you know Vega. Vega's a diva. He's too pretty to change into different clothes. I'll be Nash, I guess. Raspradigan says, I have a question. Does the game have endless from launch? I noticed on the update notes for Alex there was something about 8-man lobbies, which will be sad if I have to wait longer. I do believe there is a survival mode at launch. Like I said, I can't show it to you, which is kind of unfortunate, but the way it seems to be going down is they're going to have an endless mode, but what they're going to do for online matches is they're going to have something called a battle lounge, and at launch you can only have a party with 2 people, and then I think later on it's going to have like a maximum of 8, like you said, the 8-man lobbies. But yes, survival/endless, it is going to be there at launch. It's in the game right now. In my game right now, I should say. So yeah, should be there. Nash and Vega. This is kind of an interesting mashup. It's like they could have a hair off as much as they could have a fight.
If you stand in my way, I will kill you. Let my beauty intoxicate you.
There you go. He's got the mask. Like I said, Vega's too pretty. He won't take it. Just won't do if he doesn't have the mask. Preserving his beauty. I still laugh whenever I see Vega. If you guys remember that really unfortunate Chun-Li movie, the Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li movie from 2009, and they had Vega wear the mask because he was ugly, and I kept thinking, like, you couldn't possibly have gotten this character any more wrong, Fox. That's literally the opposite reason why he wears the mask, but yeah, you can see Vega's still there. He's still kicking. They've made Vega a little weightier compared to the other games, at least to me. Like, he's not quite as agile. I guess because they've got plenty of other agile characters. Nash, I think, was in Street Fighter 3. I don't remember using him in Street Fighter 3, but I think a friend of mine used him against me and kicked my ass with him. So,
My beauty is unshakable. Round 2.
Raspradigan. Okay, I guess they're calling it a battle lobby then, but yeah, that's what I wanted to know, as long as there's at least 2 people lobbies. Yeah, it's good of them to have the 2 people battle lounges at launch. It's kind of unfortunate that we have to wait for a patch for the bigger lobbies, but yeah, it's better than nothing, eh? Oh wow, you're really tearing it up with Vega. Like I said, Vega is a little weightier, but as you can see, he still does have some of those recognizable special moves from the vintage games. I don't know if, oh, there we go. I was just about to say, Jess is not using the claw very much. Yeah, because I know how to reverse against Vega. There we go. There, we took him out, so. Yeah, both of us are kind of neglecting our V triggers and our EX meters, aren't we? How, you don't know how I do it? Yeah. Like I said, Street Fighter 5, slightly more turkey-friendly than the other games, but still fun. Still a lot of science to it, so I think it'll still be a favorite with competitive Street Fighter players. Even if it is a little less technical and a little more streamlined than Street Fighter 4, in my opinion. There we go. Yeah, Nash has, like, Guile's Sonic Boom-like attack, eh? For those who aren't aware, Guile's not in the base game. He's going to be a DLC character, or I think an unlockable character. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. She's trying to get the V trigger to work, and I beat her. So, there's Nash. He's being a cool dude. There.
This is the 5th win for player 1.
5th win for player 1. So Jessa had 1 win. You had 2. Oh yeah, you did have 2 wins. That's right. So it's not too bad. it's kind of an interesting contrast because I know Street Fighter a little more, and Jessa's never touched Street Fighter before. I don't know if you've even seen the franchise before, have you? Even though it's...
Before YouTube this morning.
Not before YouTube this morning. Yeah, she was boning up, so... Born, I think. Like, it was pioneered in 87, so... Oh, yeah, you're gonna be Nikali. I think he's one of the other new characters. Yeah, I'd be Chun-Li. I'm actually surprised I haven't been Chun-Li yet, because she's another, like, really classic Street Fighter character. She's got the blue and the pink. I've already completed the entire story mode, so I don't seem to have unlocked any more costumes. I guess you do that by doing, like, the Endless and the online mode, and maybe buying them with the currency. The final game is going to have the option to buy, like, in-game currency, plus, like, earn it from fighting, winning matches, playing online, etc. So, I think that's how you might get some of the costumes. But we'll see. Oh, you're gonna eat my soul. That's rude. Yeah. It's another mainstay of fighting games now, eh? There's always a soul stealer.
Round one. Fight.
There. Chun-Li and Cammy should totally have a leg off. There, she's got the lightning kick, as you can see, which is still just the same. Yeah, Nikali's a little bit heavier. You can see Chun-Li more or less handles the same as she did in the other games. There we go. I'm trying to figure out how to do her, like, spinning bird kick. I'm a little rusty on that one. Okay, that's the... I know how to do the lightning kick. They might have changed it in Street Fighter V. And I don't want to constantly interrupt the stream by looking at the move list, so... Oh, there we go. We got her little energy thing. So there, I'm going to use her V trigger. And as you see, you can see there that it sort of gives her an attribute rather than just uses an attack. So depending on the character, you won't always get a super attack from that, so you got to be careful. There we go.
That's good kung fu.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Jessa was just suggesting to me, and I think it's a good idea, if you didn't hear. After this, since we've pretty much done the initial preview of all the characters, Jessa will pick a favorite character of hers, and if someone wants to see more of a particular character, I'll play as that character, and we'll start having matchups that way. Oh. Yeah, that's true. We could pull up like a little bit of the move list and show off in a little greater detail how some of the characters work. You're not doing too bad with Nikali, honestly. Like, yeah, because I'm talking. I'm engaging the stream, and it's my problem. There. Okay, how do you do it? Oh, there we go. That was my EX move, one of my EX meters that I use. Okay, stay back. I'm staying back. Okay, it's R1 and R2. It should be. Unless it's like you have to use a direction with it? No. There we go. Oh, you got cool hair. There we go. Yeah, you do. You go Super Saiyan when you use his thing. Oh, Rasbradigan said, I heard colors are unlocked via the survival mode and the in-game fight money you can earn. Can't buy all the costumes, only the new characters. That sounds correct to me. I think you're right. So, I've spent a little bit of time with the survival mode. Not as much. I've been more focusing on the story mode and just kind of messing around in the versus mode for now because I can only stream the versus mode until the review embargo is up. But all the same, yeah, there's going to be costumes to strive for. One thing that I think is kind of nice about Street Fighter V is the costumes, at least a handful of them, seem to be very distinct from each other. It's not just like simple palette swaps, although they do have the option to get alternate colors too, which I think is pretty cool. Jessa was talking about how someone was pointing out from the beta that if you were defeated on a certain side of the arena, you'll start the next round on that side. So if you're playing as two of the same character, then that would get confusing if you didn't remember who was who. But since the costumes are so distinct... Oh yeah, you got me. Since the costumes were so distinct, it's a little easier to keep track of who's controlling which person, and oh wow, that's just humiliating. That's like a Mortal Kombat style, holding the person up like that, yeah. That's a Shang Tsung pose right there.